What is up, guys? It's your boy Kyger back with another HYPIXEL SKYBLOCK tutorial video. We're doing a money-making method. We haven't done one of these in a while. I do have a bit of, a sick voice. I don't know if you can hear it. My throat's a little sore, but, I'm fine. Before we get really far into the video, I just want to note that, the 30 million coins per hour in the thumbnail isn't, 100% accurate. That is, with slightly above average RNG. I would say, though, on average, you're gonna be making at least around 20 million coins plus if you have, a proper team. And, well, what you can probably tell by the background gameplay is that this money-making method is doing Kudra. Now, what exactly are my credentials to be the ones telling you about how to do Kudra? Well, my Kudra team is pretty good. We got Stone Striker, who's rank 6, and then me and Monster are both top 400, I think, with 300 runs each, and Stone is 1.5k. So yeah, Kudra can make you a lot of money, and so I'm gonna go more in depth on that in a second. But essentially, for a proper team to do this, you need, pretty much the only important, set role is you need one hype mage. That is a requirement. You need at least one hype mage. The other 3 people can kinda just be using whatever gear they want to. It doesn't really matter. Just, put your tankiest gear on. But you'll notice, that this is still a lot of money, right? So, pretty much, if we're talking, no downtime strats, right? The fastest, you can be getting runs. Ideally, all of your runs will be sub 2 minutes, in order to be making about 20 million coins per hour. That should be your goal, is to get sub 2 minute runs. One thing I will note is that you should never ever do mana bombs. It is not worth it. It will just, it's a waste of time. There's no need to do mana bombs. You can easily skip them and kill all the tentacles long before they are there. Even if it's healthy, if you do have a good enough team, you can probably skip bombs. So now let's talk about what loot in particular do you want to take from certain chests, and that is going to depend on one very important variable, and that important variable is how many Kudra keys do you actually have, or how many do you have the availability to take. Essentially, if you don't have a lot of nether stars and you don't have a lot of Kudra keys, then you really only want to take items such as, obviously, Inferno and Fatal Tempo. You would want to take 100% if you get that. You want to take God Roll, which I'll explain in a moment, and you ideally would want to take most Molten pieces, excluding the Molten Belt. All of the Molten pieces are worth a little bit of coin. So now let's go over what is God Roll. So God Roll, every single item that you get from Kudra, like the armor sets, every item you get from Kudra, including the armor sets, Enrager, which is, there's 2 in the game, all the stuff you craft from the nether mini bosses and stuff, they all come with 2 attributes. The only item that I know of that is an exception to this rule is the Aurora Staff. So, essentially, a God Roll is when you get the ideal combination of attributes on a piece of gear. And right now, I'm just going to go over all of the different God Rolls for different items. So, all of the Molten equipment has 2 different God Rolls. It can either be Breeze Mana Pool, which is worth a lot, but do not take a Breeze Mana Pool Molten Belt because Implosion Belt is just better, so it's not worth much. And as well as for Aurora, the God Roll would be Breeze and Mana Pool, and for Crimson, the God Roll would be Breeze and Mana Pool. Fervor is garbage and does not have a God Roll. and Terror is not worth a lot, really. And there isn't much of a god roll, but if you do get, like, a life regen mana pool or a lifeline mana pool, it's probably worth it. Lifeline, life regen is also, decent. You'll have to check the prices for yourself, because recently people have been realizing, sorry, they cut out there, I don't know why, people have been realizing that Lifeline is actually a pretty solid attribute, and so Lifeline mana pool gear, like equipment gear, might start to have a bit of a rise in price, depending on how that goes. So that could change in sometime in the future. You should check for yourself to see like what the cheapest like Lifeline, life regen, Lifeline mana pool pieces are, in order to really realize how much money you're gonna make. So now we're gonna go over a few more of the strategies, right? How exactly do you do this? You have 3 Cannoneers who wear their tankiest gear, and you have your Hype Mage, and it's really that simple. The Hype Mage just clears all the mobs, while the Cannoneers shoot all the tentacles. Before you start each run, you can go over to the upgrades shop, and you can activate Sweet Spot before the run starts for free, even though it's technically supposed to cost 100 tokens, which is, pretty useful. So you can do that, and that'll help you in your run. It just adds a little bit of extra damage. So now we're also going to talk about, so basically the queue, for Kudra, similar to dungeons, where you like have to reparty in order to, re-enter the boss fight and keep going. It is obnoxious in Kudra, and the worst part is that you can't reparty. However, there is a slight alternative to repartying that is pretty much just as effective, but a little bit more complex. So, basically, at the end of the run, everyone will warp to the Crimson Isle. Then, the leader of the party will leave the party. Whoever the party gets transferred to will enter the Kudra fight. They will then party the party leader who just left, and then warp them in, and then you just continue that cycle. Whoever got transferred to would leave the party, and then just continue on. It's essentially just a little cheese like repartying. It's a little more confusing and somewhat inconsistent. There's a few variables that me and my team have been trying to figure out, but it appears that like all of your players have to be in the same Crimson Isle lobby before the party leader leaves. So it seems that the party leader has to go to the Crimson Isle, everyone else has to follow them, and then the party leader leaves, and then the next person goes in, invites the other person, and then warps. That's essentially the easiest and fastest way to queue skip that we know of right now. So now let's also explain how exactly do you want to get Nether Stars? What's the most, or not just Nether Stars, what's the most efficient way to get Kudra keys? In terms of just straight up, like, efficiency for getting keys, the fastest way is 1,000% just farming the mini-bosses. Kill Blade Soul, go over to Mage Outlaw, kill Mage Outlaw, lobby swap, kill Blade Soul, kill Mage Outlaw, then just keep doing that. It's definitely the fastest way to get keys. You could also just, like, farm Dukes, but Duke farming is definitely a lot harder, because you do definitely, like, you need to have a Hyperion to do that. But it's definitely faster to just, get your keys just by killing the Nether minis. But also you could get scammed and get a bunch of hot keys, not normal keys, and it gets annoying. Personally, the way that I get most of my keys, is just, I do Blaze Slayer, I spawn Vanquishers, then I buy keys from the shop. I will say, though, I have shockingly above average Vanquisher luck. I spawn Vanquishers way more than I should. Like, mathematically, I spawn way too many. I'm also, like, like in the top 1,000 for actual like blaze bestiary. So I do get a lot of nether stars that way. So unless you're like committed to Blaze Slayer and you like care about Blaze Slayer, I would just recommend doing nether minis to get your keys. It's really that simple. And also one more thing I should bring up is like what attribute shards and items are good, because if you do have a large amount of keys at your disposal, you just want to take whichever chest is going to give you more profit regardless of anything else. So ideally, if your free chest has like a mana pool shard and like a ferocious mana, you want to take that, because ferocious mana is definitely the most valuable enchantment book, and mana pool is the most valuable attribute shard. In terms of attribute shards that are valuable, you want to look at things like mana pool, breeze, life regen. Lifeline's starting to pick up in price. It might start moving up to the territories of life regen in the near future. I don't really know for sure. Double hook is also, it's worth a little bit. Not a lot, but I also have found that it's pretty rare in comparison to others. That might just be my luck personally. I haven't checked the wiki for anything like that. But yeah, that's pretty much how that works. And so essentially, you just want to take whichever chest will give you more money. It's that simple. It's that easy. Really, it's the only thing you have to think about if you do have a lot of keys. And when I say a lot of keys, I mean you have like at least 10, and then at least like 30 or so like just backup nether stars for like that particular reason. I also want to note that hot tier Alright, the voiceover cut off again. Thank you. But also, I want to note that hot tier Kudra is far less money than basic tier. It just is, because hot tier Kudra takes so much longer to do. Hot tier will... Okay, the voiceover got cut off again, but basically, overall, you'll make more money off of basic tier because hot tier doesn't actually really give you that much more money than basic tier does. So hot tier, you'll take probably at least like 5 minutes to do a run, and you'll barely make any more money. Just pretty much just get a bit of extra essence. The loot table is actually the same, and you know, like the good drops like Fatal Tempo and Inferno, well, they are still like insanely rare on basic. They're even rarer on hot tier, which is like kind of stupid, but yeah, that's how that is. If you guys have any questions, you can just like ask me in the comments or in my Discord server, which will be linked in the pinned comment, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.